So, this is part two of my life story and how I've been through abuse, grape, as in grapes, and my attempt to end it all. So, I left the story at being shipped off to Nigeria. I want to keep in mind that during this time, I left Chicago Thanksgiving and I was not enrolled in school. So when I was in New York, that entire time I was not enrolled in school. I was just there doing nothing. They shipped me to Nigeria, still not in school. So this whole time I'm missing out on education. I'm just out there. So I go to Nigeria and I meet my biological mother for the first time ever. And you guys, I kid you not, I spent I was in Nigeria from January all the way until August. I probably spent max 5 days with my mom. She basically just didn't spend any time with me. I'm like, you disrupted my life. You took me from my stability and you made me go live with a man that I don't know. Thankfully, nothing happened there, but sleeping with rats and roaches, going to Nigeria, and you spend 5 days with me out of the several months I'm there. It doesn't make sense. I noticed that my mom has a habit of dumping her kids on people. With my brother, it was the same way. He was living with our aunt in Nigeria, and this is my biological mom I'm talking about here. He was living with my aunt and wasn't living with my biological mother. It's just ridiculous. Even now, you guys, even now, she lives in America, and she has like a 7, 9 year old that's in Nigeria. Like, she has a habit of leaving her kids out to other people. So when she said that I was kidnapped, we're all like, that's a lie. There's just no way. You have a habit of doing this. And that's why even till this day, when I talk to her, I just don't understand. And I would be more understanding of her situation if this wasn't a continued behavior, but it is. So anyways, eventually, a family friend of mine runs into me in Nigeria, and she's looking like, what is this girl doing here? She's turning into a Lagos girl. Like, what's going on? So she calls my aunt in America and is basically like, what's happening? And I think that my family felt embarrassed by that. I think they literally felt embarrassed that my uncles pull the money together and buy me a ticket out to America. But the trick here was I can no longer go back to my stepmom to live with her and my sisters and my siblings that I lived with my entire life, because I can't do that anymore. Because because what was the reason? I can't go there because she's afraid that we're Nigerian, so y'all bear with me here. She's afraid that she's gonna get voodoo put on her, and she's like, she has other kids that she has to worry about. That hurt me a lot, because it's like, well, I'm your child. Like, you always said I'm your child, like I'm like your own, but now in this moment, all of a sudden, it's I have my other kids to worry about. So I get to Atlanta, because that's where my aunts and uncles live, and I stay with one of my aunts for a little while. That ends up not working out very well. She moves to Rhode Island, and then I end up living with my other cousins. My first day there, I haven't even stepped through the door, and my cousin tells me this: oh, my mom didn't want you here, and your mom in Chicago didn't want you either. And then, like, probably within that same week, one of my other aunts comes and tells me, like, oh, I have no family, I have no mother, I have no father, and I need to sharpen up, that I have nobody. And so, I'm like 14. I'm at this point in my life has been a shit show for the past year, and I just wanted to cry. I felt so alone. I felt so unloved, and I felt so unwanted. And my time in that house was, I like, imagine visiting someone for 5 years. Like, you're a visitor for 5 years. And you know how you are when you're a visitor? You're uncomfortable. You don't want to take up too much space. You just want to. That's how I felt the entire time. My entire time there, I slept on the floor. They never got me a mattress, a nothing. Not even a 1999 air mattress. Like, I all has been forgiven. I talked to my uncle about this, but I told him, I said, listen, you guys had me sleeping on the floor for my entirety of there. And then when I would go downstairs to try to sleep in the guest bedroom, the empty guest bedroom, my aunt would tell us we can't sleep in there. So it was 3 girls in one tight little room when there was 2 other empty rooms, and I had to sleep on the floor with 2 other empty beds, a king size bed, a full size bed that is empty, and I slept on the bare floor for 5+ years. And on top of that, I go off to college, and one of my aunts says, like, a family friend says this one thing. She's like, now that you're off to college, like, you know, you could buy yourself deodorant,